Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe. If you dare.
The home remedy she found was to use urine. I would pee into a diaper and place it on my face for 15 minutes. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. What is the worst advice you've ever received in your life?
Number 1.
I called Kids Help Phone when I was a teen to ask for advice on how to help my depressed friend. They advised me to find new friends. I wish I was making this up. To clarify, the conversation was very short. I explained my friend has been struggling, depressed with no motivation and isolating herself from others. Along those lines, it was a while back, and what can I do? The only piece of advice they gave me was to let her sort it out on her own and find new friends. That's it. Nothing to interpret or misinterpret, I don't think. We remained friends though, and she's alright now.
Number 2.
Get used to it. My old boss told me when 8 hours day shift job changed to variable 8 to 10 hours night shift. This would effectively remove me from spending time with my wife and young children. Took his advice as a catalyst to engineer the greatest adventure of my life. Transferred to a job across the country, hugely upgrading living conditions for my family. New boss, completely understanding the demands of a parent, adjust my work schedule accordingly. I am so thankful for my new boss, but I am even more thankful for my old boss, for giving me the worst advice I've ever received in my life.
Number 3.
When my daughter was an infant, my wife couldn't breastfeed and my daughter couldn't digest formula very well, so I had to buy a special pre-digested formula for like $25/can. I was at the cashier paying for the formula. The guy in front of me was gathering his things. He said to me, "When my kids were babies, I wish I knew what I know now." I was like, "What's that? What do you know?" He says, "Babies don't need formula. All they need is sugar water. All the rest is a scam." I was like, "I'm so glad you didn't know that back then."
Number 4.
My high school guidance counselor said that I wasn't college material, and I took her advice and started the process of joining the Marines with my friends, who were also told this. My chemistry teacher at the time scheduled a substitute, personally drove me to a nearby college, and sat there with me while I spoke with admissions. Fast forward a few years. After receiving a chemistry and chemical engineering dual degree and then going on to get a PhD in chemical engineering, I'd say that guidance counselor knew jack shit. My guidance counselor said I wasn't college material, and was proven to be full of shit.
Number 5.
In my final semester of college, my insanely jealous, distraught mother called me to make one last plea to get me to drop out. She went on to say, "What would you do if you had to watch helplessly as your own daughter threw her life away and became a nurse?" By the way, she married an elementary school dropout, and was a bitter retail worker. She couldn't handle watching me be the first in the family to graduate from college and make something of myself, and she dealt with it by constantly shaming me. If I scored 99% on something, she complained about the last 1%. If I got 100%, she said I was stupid because I didn't earn bonus marks. We don't talk anymore, and I'm a successful nurse.
Number 6.
Engineer, salaried, married with a kid. Also have a master's degree and several years of experience. The vice president of the company advised me to work at McDonald's after work if I wanted to make more money. He even took his calculator out and told me how many hours I should work. The guy was fired about a year after that for bullying employees. I tried to leave but ended up staying and turned down other jobs. Not a bad place to be for now. I spoke about it to a couple of senior executives I trusted at the time. Legally married to my beautiful wife. The kid is the result of said marriage. Just for the records.
Number 7.
When I was a teenager and had acne, none of the over-the-counter acne medicine was working. My mom brought me to a dermatologist and the medicine they prescribed was very expensive, so before buying it, my mom searched for any home remedies online. The home remedy she found was to use urine. The way to apply it was worse. My mom went to the store to buy supplies, and for over a month I would pee into a diaper and place it on my face for 15 minutes as part of my morning routine. Worst advice I've ever taken.
Number 8.
You shouldn't go to Japan if you don't know the language. I studied abroad and now work in Japan. Going to Japan without the language changed my life. It was a good learning experience, and you learn a language crazy fast when you need it every day.
Number 9.
My child is extraordinarily wild-hearted and intelligent, and difficult to parent. When she was 3, I was told to break her spirit so she would learn to obey. Her spirit is the best and brightest I've ever known. No exaggeration, I'd die to protect it. I don't take parenting advice from that person anymore.
Number 10.
A parent told me consistently throughout my childhood that I wasn't good at math because the parent wasn't good at math and that math is just tricks that teachers use to make you feel stupid. I almost failed 8th grade math because I thought I was bad at it. Years later, after moving away, I eventually discovered I love logic, math, and general hard problem solving. I was good enough to get hired at Facebook and worked there as an engineer for years. I make more money than my entire family combined, largely using the skills I was strongly advised I didn't have.
Number 11.
Renting is just throwing money away. Sure, if you know for a fact that you'll be living in the same town for the next 10 plus years and have a steady income. Otherwise, stop rent shaming. Renting is a great option for people who are just starting out, move every few years, or are unsure where they want to end up. Repairs are the responsibility of the landlord, and you can save a lot of money, especially with a housemate or two.
Number 12.
I grew up in the Southeast. On my first day of elementary school, my mom dropped me off. Before I got out of the car, she told me to not hang out with Hispanics or black people because they will get me into trouble. The real kicker was that we are Mexicans who just moved from Mexico City to the US.
Number 13.
Keep in mind my mother was a child abuser who I haven't spoken to in almost 14 years. But when my second child was a toddler, she wasn't sleeping through the night and being defiant. My mother recommended I spank my baby in her crib, not sure how that's supposed to help her sleep. She also recommended I tie her to a chair when she refused to stay in timeout. She was dead serious. Needless to say, I did not follow her advice. She was never mean to my kids, but I got tired of her verbal abuse to me, so I stopped talking to her. Never look back and have zero regrets.
Number 14.
I was on probation in one state and my mother wanted me to move to her state. My PO said I had to wait on my papers. Mom bought me a plane ticket anyway and told me to just get on the plane, everything would be okay. When I told her I couldn't leave the state, much less move, until I had the okay, she said I was weak and that I didn't believe in the universe enough. Needless to say, I didn't get on the plane and all is well.
Number 15.
In 2005, at 26, I was told by everybody to buy a house in Sacramento. I picked out a brand new house to have built. I was driving to drop off the deposit. On the way there, I had a gut feeling not to buy, I just knew we were in a real estate bubble. So I ripped the check up and turned my car around and drove to my shitty in-law unit. I just knew the homes were not going to go up in value. Everybody told me I was a loser who didn't want to grow up. I was immature. My fiance's family, who all bought homes, told me I was an idiot who didn't want to grow up. The market crashed in 2007 and all of those homes in Sacramento we are foreclosed on, including my wife's family members, and now their credit was ruined. By 2009 the market bottomed out and instead of losing a home in Sacramento, I bought one in beautiful San Francisco, currently one of the hottest housing markets in the entire US. Now it's worth more than twice what paid in only 8 years. Now the same wife's family who gave me total shit advice in 2005 is trying to get me to sell my home in SF and buy a home in LA. Again, I'm sure the LA housing market will crash in a couple of years as well. So again, I'm getting told that I'm stupid and an idiot.
Number 16.
Worked at a restaurant chain as my first job. Worked my way up to supervisor when I was going to quit and go to college full time. Convo with the general manager, GM, went like this: me, going to start college in the fall. I will be leaving here around that time. GM, what do you mean? Me, I'm going to get a degree. GM, why? The only thing good about a college degree is it's a finer piece of paper to wipe your ass with. Went on to finish my degree. Restaurant closed down because of a cockroach infestation.
Number 17.
Don't care what others think of you is really bad advice, especially in adult life. While people mean it good when they say it, it's bad advice, because what people think about you and how they feel about you is a major part of your adult life. If people think you are stupid, mean and whatnot, even when it's not true, you won't get many opportunities in life. While you shouldn't just do what other people want you to do and how they want you to act, you still should do your possible best to keep people's opinion about yourself positive as much as you can.
Number 18.
I worked at a busy thrift store in the donation section when I was 15. My supervisor said I should rub up against the women in the narrow hall on my way to get boxes. I didn't do it. He told me I was a pussy and to watch how it's done. I watched him walk up behind a girl and rub up against her. She turned and punched him in the face. He told her she was fired, the manager came over and the surveillance camera showed what happened. He was fired.
Number 19.
Do the world a favor and never go into computers. That was the advice I got from my computer teacher back in high school in the mid-90s. It was more of a critique of my aptitude in class than general advice, but it was reinforced several years later by my web design teacher in college who gave me the second lowest grade of my academic career. Thankfully, I ignored both and went into computers and have been a web designer for the last 20 years. For bonus points, I picked up a side job teaching college and replaced my old web design instructor. Sadly, he did not remember who I was, but I enjoyed the moment, nevertheless.
Number 20.
When I was younger, I was constantly spraining my joints. First, my mom told me to sit out of rough play on the playground, which didn't help considering I was sitting in the library most of the time anyway, reading or doing homework. Then she decided I must be faking it and stopped caring about it. Told me to toughen up and just deal with it, because everyone has aches and pains and part of being an adult is working despite those. Turns out I have a condition that makes my joints super easy to dislocate. I'll have continuing problems throughout my life because I had injuries never treated as a child.
Number 21.
Dad, you shouldn't put your money in the bank, you should invest it in stocks. Look at all these Chinese stocks I bought from friends' recommendations. Me, broke university student with no income, that's a bad idea, Dad. Dad, what do you know? You should read more books like Poor Dad, Rich Dad. Me, no. That's a very bad idea. 2 years later, Dad got burned in the stock market. Dad, all stocks are bad, you shouldn't buy any mutual funds. Buy houses instead. Me, looks at my meager wage, I can't afford it, Dad, and I don't think you could either. Dad, what do you know? You should listen to real estate agents and get a realtor license. Me, with accounting designation, finance degree, and working in banking industry, this is really not a good time to buy. Dad, buys 3 houses. 3 months later, Dad, we can't buy any more houses, we can't afford them. Me, now with $2 million of mortgage, no shit. Dad, you should have listened to me. I vowed not to talk to my dad on money anymore. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.